Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So let's talk risk factors for heart disease, or as we officially should call it, cardiovascular disease, because it might be your heart which is having problems, but it might also be those blood vessels, that blood vessel lining, which is so very important to keep as healthy as possible. So what are we talking about here? So there is an article down there called Risk Factors. So have a good look at those different points, but let me just give you a brief explanation for some of them. So age is on the top of the list because once you get to the age of 50 and certain hormones start declining in production, your risk for heart disease or cardiovascular disease actually does increase. And men in general are at a greater risk, and especially in the younger years, 45 to 50, etc., where we ladies, our risk increases after menopause. Now, because it increases after menopause, it tells you, doesn't it? It tells you how important estrogen actually is. So check that article out about hormones and heart health, because estrogen and testosterone and even progesterone for that matter are very, very important, are very supportive of actual heart and blood vessel health, especially blood vessels. So we need to look at that, don't we? So genetics, obviously genetics are going to play a role. Some people will be genetically very strong and others can be genetically weaker. So if you do have a relative in the family, you have a parent, a sibling, aunts, uncles, that kind of thing, somebody who has heart disease, then you may genetically also be weak. So my father died of a heart attack and my brothers had a couple of strokes. So I had my DNA tested a while back. It doesn't make any difference, it's never going to change. And I have some weaker genes, so I know that I need to be looking after certain areas in my lifestyle, in my diet, etc., which I try to do. So that's a good thing for me. But my lifestyle is very different from my father's and very different from my brother's. So I'm counting on I'm going to be around, in the 80s and the 90s, and I might even get to 100, you never know. I don't want to be on my own, so everybody make sure that you're doing what you can to keep your heart healthy, so I'm not alone. Yes, okay. Now, smoking, everybody knows smoking is no good for heart, isn't it? I mean, absolutely. It's going to tighten blood vessels, going to increase blood pressure, all this kind of thing going on. And heart attacks are simply more prevalent in smokers than they are in non-smokers. So if you are a smoker, just make this the one thing that you have to change. You have to stop smoking. That would be so good for many, many, many areas of your health, especially your heart. So stress, we know, obviously, is also a particular player in the cardiovascular scene. And it's more to do with that production of the hormone cortisol, I think, than anything else. And also the nervous system, so the adrenaline and the noradrenaline, the effect on blood pressure, all this kind of thing. So have a little look in that hormones and heart health, because there's more details there for you to look at. And also check the other blogs, because there is a blog about stress. Have a little look at that and see what you can do. So if stress is a problem, then please take steps to reduce the stress in your life. Yeah. So high blood pressure. Now, when I did the blog about measuring health, I did recommend everybody buying a little blood pressure machine. Now, they do not cost very much money. So please buy one of these little blood pressure cuffs and start routinely checking your blood pressure, especially if it's a little bit on the high side. So remember the numbers, 120 over 80 is good, or anything under. Once you start moving above that 120 over 80, it is indicating that your blood pressure is getting higher and you need to make some changes. What that might be, you'll have to look into the lifestyle choices that you are making, okay? So check that blood pressure on a regular basis, because the obvious symptom of having a headache is not always the case. So lots of people are running around actually with high blood pressures and do not have headaches. But if you are constantly suffering with headaches, then perhaps it is to do with your blood pressure. So get one of these machines. While you're there, get a little blood sugar machine and start checking your blood sugar. Oh, and by the way, blood sugar problems and insulin are also going to increase your risk for cardiovascular disease, okay? So They're some of the ones, but there are more on the list, like dental health. We need to make sure that our teeth are healthy, that we're looking after them daily, but we're getting regular checkups with the dentist as well, hey? Okay, so as I said, have a little look at the article, Risk Factors for Developing Cardiovascular Disease, because there'll be lots more information there. Happy hormones, happy life.